Mm, It's April 23, 2022, and it's late, late in the evening here in Sweden, and I'm happy that it's going to be a little rain this night for the garden, Jesus garden, and it had been on my mind the whole day about that the number about these days, 1260 days that it's in the Bible, and it is 3.5 years, and for me is it a special number because that's what I was in the United States when I was walking as homeless. I was in the United States exactly 1260 days. So that is very special because I didn't know how to come back to Sweden. I live with those Muslims people, but they were not nice to me. They were evil because in that time I was Christian. So they didn't like me, but they were forced to have me working for them because no American wanted to work for them because they were Muslims, and it was just after September 11, 2001, just after I got the job. So they knew I was not American, and needed to work for someone, and so they took me in, and so I had an address in that house, the Muslim house, and I wrote to the Swedish embassy in New York and asked for help because I didn't get any help from any places in the United States, and I was very tired to be depended on evil people. So, and then I started to be very sick in my body, so I needed to go home because I couldn't afford any doctor in the United States. So I needed to go back home, and I have tried to get a permanent staying in United States first. I did before I be very sick, and this of course make it worse for my body because I got my psoriasis of stress, so much stress on me to not have any security, no comfort at all in my life for 3.5 years, and I didn't get any permission to stay in United States. I could have stayed in United States if I was thinking like normal people thinking, but I have been raised to think in a different way. That my life was not worth anything. I was the last person. I was the least one. So I was not thinking about myself when I was to the immigration place. And the supervisor at the immigration in Norfolk, Virginia, she tried to help me, but I had hard to do it. She told me that I could stay in United States, be allowed to stay in United States because I was married to an American citizen. And she say if I wrote on the application that my husband was evil to me, that he did wrong things to me, I could stay in United States, like be in protection of United States. So I had there one time I could have make it. I could have fill in this application she gave me, and it was not a lie. If I have fill in the application that my husband was not good, because he wasn't, because he married me and knew that he had HIV, and it could be inside my body also, and he knew that, and he was a big drinker and do drugs. He was not good, but still I couldn't fill in the application and stay in United States. But today am I very happy that I didn't do that, because that have killed me, because I should not have the money, still not have the money for the doctor. I could get money to go to a doctor for the basic health problem, but I had this psoriasis that is a special, be needed to have a special treatment, and not everyone get it in the United States. You need to have money for that, and I know that I could get some funds to take care of it, but that should be the whole time. I have to search and ask for funds for it. It have been that I be killed, so I needed to go back to Sweden because of the health, and I could manage my homeless life. I could do that, but it was this that I started to get so much pain of my psoriasis that is in the joint, and I had to work in the United States to could survive. So I tried to do it in that way, but I couldn't. But then one day my my daughter's father called me. I have all this address and I have a telephone number that he could reach me. And he said to me that I am going to send you a flight ticket. He said to me, he is very wealthy, my daughter's father. So he said, I'll send you a ticket. And I had an address for him to could send me a flight airline ticket to come back to Sweden. So in that way, he was not bad in that way. I am very thankful that he did that. And I am also thankful for myself that I didn't fight with him about our house. I left the house that I have make a drawing on it how it should look like, and we built it, and it was a big house, expensive house, and I could have half of the money from the house if I had a fight with him in a court. But I didn't do that because that's how I have been my whole life, that I am so kindly and friendly and could stand up for myself because I was taught as a child to not stand up for myself, to let everyone standing on me and be the least person. So I still today have that thinking about myself, that I am not worth anything, but God have taught me and showing me that I am today first. I'm not the least, I'm the first now when God changed everything in my life. And I have done everything what is and what was in God's will. And I have done everything that have required of me that I should do in God's will, and I have proof that for God that I do everything what He told me to do without thinking about myself. And so I am coming to that end of my walking in that way, that I know today that I was thinking today about this with why did God told me to do the DNA? What did I know? God wanted to show me something, and it can be two things that He showed me. That He, in a more short, that He showed me that I was a royal, and symbolic. I was connected with all the royals in Europe and in other countries outside Europe, but that is the worldly thing. But what God wanted to show me, it was that I was a royal in heaven, that's what it meant. And then also with DNA, he showed me I belong to the house of David's house, Jesus line. I belong there. So that was two things he could show me, God, and I think both is what it is, that I am a royal in heaven, and for those they are in heaven, I am a royal for them. That's why they are coming and talk to me. I am like a leader for them, and then this with Jesus. When God told me to do my DNA, and I have sent it my DNA to Ireland, then I was thinking, when I was waiting for the DNA test result, I was thinking that it's something with Jesus to do that God wanted to tell me. I was 100% sure that I belonged to Jesus in my DNA. I was already there. And then I be confirmed when I got the DNA. But it have never... It's so big for me, this experience. I had never could know it if I have not take the flight to Utah to Family Research Center and got help. I didn't really got help there. I got help to see that my grandfather was not the son of that man that his mother lived with, and later she married him, and she come with my grandfather to this man and marry him, and then in the church books they mixed him up because there was already a son in the family in the same age as my grandfather and with the same name. The difference was the middle name of them, that the other boy had another middle name, but the first name and the short name was exactly the same, and they were born in the same year. It's so very strange that it could happen, and I believe that it was already done from the devil to hide my grandfather for me. But then the man in the Family Search Center, he pointed out for me that this was not his father, and that encouraged me, and I got the knowledge that my grandfather had another father, and then because of the DNA, it have not could happen if I have looked for it in the church books, but in the DNA it showed who was the father. And before God told me to do my DNA, I was not interested in to do my family tree, because I thought it was a very boring family tree, because I have seen the family tree my aunt had done. She paid for to do this family tree, and it was based on the church books. That was wrong. It was wrong in them, and I have found out it's very much error in those church books, and that is like symbolic for me, that how much this man's writing, how much error it is, not only in the church books but also in this Bible. I suppose I have not studied so much. I have studied a little Quran because the man in the house, the Muslim house where I lived, he wanted to teach me about Quran. So we were sitting and talking a little, but I don't know so very much about what's in the Quran. But it's all those so-called holy books is not written from God. It's man that have tried to interpret what they read, from what they have found, and it can be error, like it is in the church books for those people that have been born and died also, where what they have written up. And on my father's side and on my mother's side also, it's been very much because they were wealthy, these people, because they were nobles and royal connection. They have money to be like a priest in the church, a bishop, and those things. They didn't go, they were not in the pulpit because of their connection with God. They were in the pulpit on both my parents' side. They were there because they have titles, names, they have the money for to stand in the pulpit. And that's what it is today also. Many in United States that am founder of churches, they have been military. They have been titles in the military, so they have money from the military to could start churches. That's what it was in the old time. And today it's that young people see how those old preachers have their own airplane and they have their own big mansions to live in many places. They see how much money they have earned from preaching, and they want that money, and they are not called to be in the pulpit of God. They have been called of the devil, and the devil is about money. God is not money, but the devil is money. So they are in the pulpit. Many people in the church are sitting and listen at the devil. And that's very sad that it is like that. It's going worse and worse, more worse, and until that day Messiah is coming and standing in the front of the door of all these false churches, and he is already in the front of the door into the churches, because many have died of those preachers that I have as friends. It's a helicopter that is going around here. I think it's a police helicopter. I'm very sure it's police helicopter around here. So we'll see if something have happened. Next time I'm recording, I tell you if something have happened. Last weekend they were burning cars just where I live. I live in a Muslim area, so it's much going on. And so it was this about 1,260 days. That is 3.5 years. So I got the ticket, and in the same I did the same in United States as I did in Sweden. I left. I should have signed me out from United States, or else I couldn't return to United States. But I wanted only to fly home to my country, to Sweden. I wanted so badly, so I only fly to Sweden without telling the immigration, because I had signed up a paper to stay in United States, and it's fun to say that I was an alien in United States, but I have this SSN card, this to could work in United States. I had that's what it is, card, and but I only fly back home, and I come to United States in December 18, 2000, and I could leave because my daughter's father sent me an airline ticket, so I could leave, and I come back to Sweden in May 4, 2004. So that was 3.5 years exactly. I was not allowed to, from God, to leave United States. I had to stay 3.5 years there. So it's very special for me that I stay there in 1,260 days, and that also make me look at the revelation about this woman that is fighting with the dragon, and I have done that for a long time. I have done my whole life fighting with a dragon, but it was in United States I really faced the dragon. It was many people that wanted to kill me in United States, but I survived everything because God make an opening for me to run away from it, to escape. that really special time was this, when I lived this with this woman, and she started to be angry at me, and how crazy she was started to come out from her. And I didn't know what to do, because I didn't have any place to go to. And she found out that I talked to the radio station in Wolverhampton, Hampton Road, the Navy channel, and it's on your side, that program that they help people that have problem. And I was talking to, her name was Sherita Wilson, and I was talking to her many times, but I didn't know that this crazy woman I live with, she have recording all the calls I did, what I was talking to Sherita with about, and it was before the terrorist attack come, just in that time. And this woman, she be even more crazy and angry at me, and could happen anything. It could happen very bad things to me, because she thought my daughter called me from Sweden, and our country number is 46, and I wanted to talk English with my daughter. I don't know. I think it was because I wanted this woman to hear what I was talking with my daughter. I was not thinking about myself in that way. I wanted this woman to know that I didn't talk something that was not good. And she thought, she didn't know that my daughter had been in a school in Texas, so she could speak English. So this crazy woman, she thought that because of the terrorist attack come, that I was that one terrorist, and that 46 that belonged to Sweden, that is also a code for Chicago. And so she thought it was not my daughter, it's someone in Chicago I was talking to. So she would go very crazy, and I sit in a chair, and she was over me, and with this dragon crazy eyes, and she could have a knife or something on me. And the situation was terrible, and I didn't know what to do. And I have told you before, that I was talking to God inside my mind. She didn't know that I was talking to God. And I prayed to God, and I said, God, you need to help me out from this situation. Help me, God. And it took only about 20 minutes. Then suddenly it's come a big sound, a knocking on the door, and her son come in. He was very drunk, and he only fall on the floor and laying there and crying. And he told his mother that his his girlfriend that he lived with, she have threw him out from their home. So he come home to his mother because he had no place to stay. And that's what God did for me, that he come and he say that this crazy woman, she have one son that was living in the same house as us, and this man, the drunk man, he say that he didn't want to stay with his mother. He say, I stay with my brother, he say, because this crazy woman, she say that he could have my bed, but he didn't want the bed. And then this crazy woman said that I have too much to do with my son now, so I deal with you later on, she say to me. So I have some days where I could have a bed, but in the same time I work for it to come away from her. But I get some rest there, so I could really be plan to do something else than to be there with this woman. So that was one of those times when God helped me, and He have done this. It's go when I really ask God for help, really crying out and have this so very stressful situation. God doesn't say, okay, I will help you in 2-3 days, like that. It have been like 20 minutes in many cases. It have going very quick, the answer from God. And so God knows the level of threat, and He knows how He knew that I felt this, so my heart almost could stop because of the dangerous situation. So He knew it have to go fast. But in normal cases, that he can, we have to wait in where is not emergency need. But is it emergency need that go very quick from God? So in that way, I learn about God, that He is very close. I have learned now that it's not God that do it. We have all these spirits that is around us that we don't see, but they are around us and see what's going on in our life. And then God, they tell God about what's going on, and then God is tell them to help us. And that's why I have this higher priest that come to my home in year 2000 when I was on my way to make a suicide. That was an emergency situation. And the highest priest was the one that come first. But he had God with him because he have told God about my situation. So that's what it is. I have told you that everything there in 2000, it told me everything, but I didn't understood it in that time because I didn't know God. So I have learned, and mostly I have learned now with a podcast when those spirits are coming. You hear that I start to have this kind of breathing because I start to get visit from a spirit. I don't know yet what will come, but it's a spirit, and I suppose there is a portal inside my home because they always coming from the same place. So it's a fun little door I have that I have to slide to close. It's not a normal door. I like that door. And it's standing a woman. It's a woman standing there in the opening of this door. And I say it's a Mary, Jesus' mother, that is here. I say it's Mary that is here. And if I say that in a spirit way, it is Mary. And she coming here for, of course she coming here for a reason. And she, when she's standing in the opening, she looked so very powerful, standing and look out on me. But in the way that she showed me, then she start to look down in the floor to confirm for me that that she is here, Mary, Jesus' mother. And she'd say, pondering about all these situations that you are in. And she's talking about you. She's not talking about me. She's talking about, you have to pondering about your situation you have been in and that you are in, if you should continue to be in that situation. She say like it's someone holding you to stay there. And she's saying very clearly, it's not me, which I only tell you what she's saying. She say that he and she is good in the bed. She say that's what's hold you. You're thinking temporary, and it can be, in a sense, babies in this, and they grow up in this situation you are in just now that hold you, and it's affect those children that will be born in this situation. You have to think, you have to think a little longer, she's saying, than what's going on just now. And it can be, she warning you that it can be a time when you are weak and you have something else to do. You maybe are pregnant and can't have sex as you did before. And it's very likely that he ran away to another woman to have sex. And it's not stable, this situation you live in. It's you live in an illusion. You live in an illusion, she's saying. You have to pondering over your situation. Pondering is to think about it deeper. Pondering is to think deep about your situation. And you can't think what you have today. You have to think about the future for you. Are you ready to be a single mother? Are you ready to be single mother to many children, and no one serious want to be with you when you have all these kids, and in the situation you are enter into when you are not. And she say again, pondering, but you know what pondering is. So when you don't look at the future, and you look only for your own pleasure just now, but it's not going to be pleasure for a long time, because he's not going to marry you, because he get what he want from you without marry you. So you give him for free. Yourself, you give yourself for free, and he take advantage of it. She is coming here for you because she love you and want to warning you. You are like chosen for marry, and she talking to you between woman to woman about your situation here, and it can be for men also, this situation, because there is women that make them be pregnant for to hold those men into their life by make a baby with them. And so that's not good for you if you are like for you that is a man, that you can go into like a prison with a woman that have your child, and because you're not thinking deeper of what is going on just today. She waving with her hand. She is going now. She's leaving, and she have say what she needed to say to make you think about your situation. She have seen what's going on in your life, but it's your decision. It's your responsible to take care of your life, and this is only warning for you that she have coming and told you, because she see it. She see your life, and she see that person that you have in your life that is like a game you're playing with these people, but there will be a future that is not nice for. The future will be terrible for you if you doing these things, but it's this that you have your free will. It's only a warning about it. So I thank you, Mary, to come here and talking about it. So I am thinking, I see this statistic that is about lower the weight is one of the most listened at, downloaded, and it's sad. It's sad that people are coming here to get this worldly word for them, and the one that have not much downloader or listener is this with UFO, and there was a risk, but I couldn't do anything about it, because that was an alien that come and wanted to talk, and it's the same thing. But I told you that people that believe in God don't believe in UFO, and those that like UFO, they don't like God. And today I did some commercial for this episode about UFO, and I did it on a UFO site, and there is no one that is coming and listen or download, because they see that I'm talking about God, so they don't want to listen. And you that believe in some sort of God, you don't want to listen either. So this episode is very low of people listen at it. But those that have listened, I know that it's you that follow me, that want to hear every episodes, and that's why I do this podcast. The podcast is for you that follow because you want to know God, you want to know what's going on in this world, you want to know why it is like it is in your life, that you have experienced this touch of something that you can't understand, that you want to understand it. So for you that is about UFO, and if you write me I'm going to write my address to the Facebook so you can be my friend. And if you ask for friendship, you should write me that it's about the podcast. You write it's from the podcast. You write it, because I have some that ask for friendship, and they are scammer and want to hack my account because I am talking about God. So it's important that you write me that you are from the podcast, or else I can't accept you if I don't see who you are. And so I'm going to write, and I'm going to write my email address also, so you can write me a letter and you can come to the Facebook and be my friend there. And some people have done it already from the podcast. I'm very thankful for that you do, that you want to be my friend. And so this is what I wanted, and I wanted to tell you. And if you want me to talk more about UFO and what I have experienced from to be observed of aliens, but many times I think it's they have connection with God, because they show me in the same that time when they come in the beginning, when they really come to me, and when I was 30 years old, they took me and showed me the New Jerusalem. So something is it between God and them. So they are from God in some way. That, like I get more knowledge about the spirits because I recording the podcast and they coming through. That's the same that aliens may be coming through more and teach us if people want them to come and talk. I have told you that it's depending on what we act in all the communication, relationship with those that is around us. We have to act. It's not they that is act. They touch you because they want you to act on it. They touch you. They do small things in your life to say, hello, I'm here. Talk to me. Act on it. And most people act with fear and don't want to see or don't want to listen, don't want to talk. Those monkeys, those apes, this statue about them, they don't want to see, they don't want to hear, and they don't want to talk. That's what it is. Not only about aliens, it's also about God. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. So I thank you for listening, and I love my followers. I know you are there, my followers. Most I have in United States, but it have coming from other countries also. So I'm very thankful, and I hope you can share some episodes with your friends, with the people, and help me to do a commercial for this podcast. Because if it's going to be one day that there is no one that listen on my podcast, then I don't do the podcast anymore. Then is it time for me to do something else in God's will? Somewhere he maybe look for those spots where people can receive him. And if you can't, there is no one that receive God because in my podcast, because I do this podcast. If you don't accept God and you don't receive God and you don't want to listen here, then is the end of it. But today, at least, I have about 10 people that listen regular. So I'm not there yet, but it's very fragile. My podcast is very fragile. It can be like, in Jesus in the Bible, suddenly people turn around and left. Half of the people left Jesus when he was talking because they didn't like what he was talking and they didn't understood what Jesus was talking. And so can happen to this podcast. But all those episodes I have done, I'm not going to take that away, but if there is no interest, I am not going to record any more episodes. It have to stay there. I have at least, I don't know how much it is, but maybe 240 episodes that people can listen to if they come in the future. It's maybe be dead, my podcast, but then in the future maybe there is people that find this podcast again if I don't get help to make commercial for it. So it's growing with people that want to listen, that really want to listen. Not only pick out something that catch their eyes and then they listen 5 minutes in an episode. That's not the people that I waiting for. I waited for those people that really want to know God, the true God. So thank you and God bless you.